Hey guys, what's up? It's Iflin here, and today we're going to be talking about the removal of self-damage and why I think it was a mistake. We're more so going to be talking about, the potential consequences of self-damage being removed in this video and just exploring that thought just a little bit. I know I didn't speak up whenever the whole self-damage conversation was happening. You had two sides to the argument. You had some people saying, removing self-damage is going to make the game more fun and more fast-paced because we're going to be able to use weapons like the lens, for example, and not blow ourselves up. And then you had the other side of the argument saying that, well, self-damage in video games is a good way of balancing weapons that are insanely strong. Take the Kuva Brahma in its current state, for example. It's really, really, really strong. Now, the problem occurs whenever you pair a weapon like the Kuva Brahma with a Warframe like Gauss, who has knockdown immunity on his 2, a lot of damage reduction on his 2, and insane buffs on his 4th ability. Gauss and the Kuva Brahma, in my opinion, are relatively easy to obtain. It's relatively easy to make a build for Gauss. All you have to do is stack on a ton of duration, and it's also relatively easy to make a decent build for the Kuva Brahma as well. Hell, you can even have half the builds that I have here for both Gauss and the Kuva Brahma, and you can do some insane stuff with the combo of Gauss and Kuva Brahma. It's ridiculous how strong this setup is. So, it's whenever a setup arises that trivializes content that DE sort of have a knee-jerk reaction and like to nerf things. You take Scarlet Spear, for example, how they nerfed a few Warframes because it sort of trivialized that event. Let's say, for example, they make another event where Gauss and the Kuva Brahma become meta because you have to run through this event super fast or something, and then the faster you do it and the more enemies you kill, then the more rewards you got at the end or something along those lines. Imagine that scenario. Then the Gauss and the Kuva Brahma might see a nerf because of the removal of self-damage and the fact that, Gauss can make himself completely knockdown immune. So if you haven't been playing Warframe, basically any weapon that dealt self-damage now is just going to knock you over. I'll demonstrate this in a mission that we jump into, but basically, if you haven't caught on by now, my fear is that because self-damage is removed, it might lead to some frames, kits being tweaked or nerfed just to accommodate for self-damage not being in the game anymore, right? So here's the build that I'm using on Gauss. All you have to do is throw on duration. Like I said, really, really, really easy build to put together. I wish they had have incorporated power strength in the Gauss in some way, shape, or form, other than for his 3 and his 1, because I was fully expecting to come in here and then mod a ton of power strength to increase the buffs on his 4 and his 1, right? So the amount of speed or how fast you go with the 1 and the amount of bonus speed you get to your fire rate and whatnot on your 4. I was expecting all of that to be affected by power strength because, it just made sense based off of other Warframes, but it's all based around duration and sprint speeds, making it very, very, very easy to mod for. There's no trade-off there. So, moving on to the Kuva Brahma though, you can run a Being 100 munitions viral build, or you can run a straight up corrosive crit damage build. It's entirely up to you. Both of the builds are going to deal insane damage. The only thing at the moment that really balances out the Kuva Brahma is the lack thereof ammo. So as it stands, if you didn't have the likes of ammo drum equipped or something like that, you'd only have 15 arrows to shoot off, and then you'd have to go get a little bow ammo pack, right? But you can throw on ammo drum, you can throw on a ammo mutation mod, you can run a companion, and that sort of fear of running out of ammo is almost completely gone. It's going to happen from time to time, but with the amount of enemies that you're going to kill with those 15 to 25 shots or whatever, there's going to be an ammo pack just laying around somewhere for you to pick up and get all of your ammo back. So it's literally not a concern unless you're going against a super tanky enemy. But even then, versus a Kuva Lich using Gauss and the Brahma, the Kuva Lich doesn't stand a chance unless they're resistant to the damage types that you have on your Brahma. Then you're able to just shred through the Kuva Lich, which is what I would consider to be a decent boss at the minute in Warframe, just because of how sort of tanky it can be, right? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna jump into a mission, and I'm gonna show you guys how insane this is, and again talk a little bit about how DE might justify nerfing Gauss and the Cubit Brahma, because I don't know. I think that they won't nerf the Kuva Brahma. What I think they'll do is they'll end up nerfing Warframes, right? So I fear that they might take away the ragdoll resistance from Gauss's 2 or something along those lines, just to balance out this sort of playstyle. Because this playstyle that I'm about to demonstrate to you guys, it feels like, what's it called? It feels like the pre-nerf Toncore and Spin the Win mixed into the one thing, because of the amount of momentum that you can keep up and the amount of damage that you can deal. So the thing with the Toncore was that it was an AoE explosive damage weapon that had a headshot multiplier. It dealt a lot of damage, and then with Spin the Win, it was about the momentum that you can keep and the amount of damage that you can dish out, right? So the same thing has sort of happened here, where you can just, you know, keep on spamming your one with Gauss or whatever. This is my first mission of the day, by the way, so excuse me if I play a little bit sloppy. But as long as you have a way to maintain your energy and keep on spamming one and whatnot, this sounds like a lot of work, but it really isn't. You just spam your 1, have your 2 and your 4 up, and then go around and just, you know, use your left click to deal a ton of damage. Like the Kuva Brahma also goes through walls, so realistically, all I have to do here is jump around and shoot at the floor to kill everything, right? Literally everything. And these aren't low-level enemies, right? I'm not blowing up low-level enemies. These guys are like level 100 and something, or maybe between 80 and 100, right? So let's find an enemy. They're level 90, right? Level 90 enemies, and they're just getting one shot, and I can just go around this mission and just shoot this Brahma at the floor, basically unlimitedly, because I'm gonna get the ammo back from the enemies that I'm killing, and then that's it. Like this trivializes content so much. I just don't understand what's going through their head at DE, because like it is literally just the pre-nerf Toncore and the momentum that you got from Spin the Win mixed into the one thing. Of course, you have to really use Gauss or frame those knockdown immune to pull this off and then manage your cooldowns, but it's really not hard, right? I've got 90 seconds on both my 2 and my 4 with all of the buffs there. I don't know, man. Like, all they have to do to fix this is make it so that Gauss is affected by power strength on his 4th ability, and the damage reduction is also affected by power strength on his 2. But I don't know if they're gonna change up how Gauss is modded in that regard, because then that way you have to pay more attention to your cooldowns and also manage your energy a little bit better. So that's what I would do if I was a developer and I wanted to change up this playstyle, but I fear that they might end up taking away Gauss's knockdown resistance, or maybe they change up the damage reduction that he has on his 2. Now, I feel like they should bring self-damage back, because either way, this playstyle where I'm just jumping around and then shooting at the ground is utterly insane, right? It just trivializes all the content in the game, makes it super easy. And I feel like that's not what DE want, because if they're okay with this here being in the game, why are they not okay with Spin the Win being in the game, right? I really enjoyed Spin the Win, and I really enjoy doing this here as well. But, you know, I'm not a fool. I acknowledge that this makes the game way easier than it's meant to be, right? So, I don't know. I'm not calling for a nerf on anything. I'm just stating that I think that this playstyle is a little bit insane, and it undoes, like, the nerfs that they done for Spin the Win and the Toncore nerf, right? Because it literally does feel like the 2 of those mixed into one. The fact that I can just jump around the mission, shoot at the floor, and kill literally everything, right? It's nuts. It's nutty. So let me see. I need to find this this little boss enemy that's gonna blow up my my what's it called? My disruption objective. If I can find him. There he is. Here he is. Just have to shoot at him. 3 arrows and he's dead. All that damage over time as well is nuts. So that's literally all there is to it, man. It's crazy. It's nuts. It's an insane playstyle. It's how I've been doing my missions since I came back to Warframe. I don't know. It's absolutely crazy. Of course, I could probably make it look even flashier than this. It's just because this is my first mission on of the day that I'm not like totally warmed up yet. But I could be playing this mission far faster by incorporating Gauss's 1 into the mix as well, for example. I've also got the Tomb Finger on here. So with the Tomb Finger, I've got Pack Seeker on. So whenever I land a headshot, it's going to let out these little balls, which are going to seek out enemies and deal damage to them as well. So That's a thing. So it's just been a matter of me using the Kuva Brahma with the Tomb Finger and the Prime Crunins, the Crunin Prime, with a status crit hybrid build, Blood Rush, Drifting Contact, viral mods to make viral on, and then just shredding through all the enemies. Like, my melee's crazy as well. Of course, that's sort of like the power fantasy of Warframe, but at the same time, this just jumping around a mission and shooting at the floor, it trivializes content, and it also makes the game not that pleasant to watch. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I feel that. It makes the game not that pleasant to watch because as I'm streaming on Twitch and I'm running around and I'm doing this method, a lot of people are complaining about how all they can see is particle effects, and the bitrate on stream is being tanked because of that, right? Like, it just looks all blurry and pixelated because all I'm doing is jumping around and you know, shooting at the floor and whatnot. So yeah, it's absolutely insane the amount of damage that you can dish out with this build, and my fear is that they're gonna end up nerfing a certain element of Gauss's kit to accommodate for stealth damage being removed. I do think it should have been kept in the game, because then it would have stopped that type of playstyle where you're just sort of flying around, shooting at the ground, murdering everything through walls. Other steps they can take to sort of like alleviate that playstyle is like making it so the Kuva Brahma doesn't shoot through walls. Like, whenever I'm spamming at the floor, it shouldn't be hitting an enemy that is sort of like above me or through a wall to the left or to the right, wherever they happen to be. That shouldn't be happening. And maybe they just decreased the range on the Kuva Brahma. Like, the Kuva Brahma is such an insane weapon because of the high base damage. The fact that you can get bonus damage on it as well is absolutely nuts, with, you know, the toxin, the heat, etc. So I don't know, man. Let me know what you guys think about the playstyle in the comment section below. It is crazy. It does trivialize a lot of content in the game. It's fun. I'm not gonna lie. It definitely is fun. But like, I just think back to the pre-nerf Toncore, and I think back to Maiming Strike, and then I look at this playstyle, and I think to myself, well, I'm completing missions in half the time that I would normally complete them in, with half the effort as well, with this Gauss and the Kuva Brahma setup. I understand that it's also a consequence of just, you know, making new Warframes and being unable to balance everything because of how many crazy overpowered Warframes there is in the game. Gauss is a super fun Warframe. I don't want this kit to be touched. My fear is that they do touch this kit because of the stealth damage removal, and yeah, I think it was a mistake to remove it. I've wished that they would bring it back so then people can't just fly through missions spamming the Kuva Brahma at the floor, because it's going to make it so people play the game less and enjoy the game less because it's so easy at that point. So yeah, it's not really like a meta setup. It is just sort of common sense that, you know, Gauss makes you shoot super fast, that he's knockdown immune. So for the people who are going to blame me for calling this a meta setup or whatever, or showing this setup to people, please don't. It's just common sense. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, hit the like button below. If you want to subscribe for more Warframe content, hit the sub button, and I will see you guys in the next one.